You think it doesn't matter, don't you? That not caring was just your way of surviving, a way to shield yourself from their expectations, their betrayal. But let me tell you something. Indifference, true, unapologetic indifference, isn't weakness. Oh no, no, no. It's their reckoning. A weapon sharper than any blade and colder than any grave they could dig for you. You see, people expect reactions. It's how they control you, how they manipulate you, how they wrap those fragile little fingers of theirs around your neck and squeeze just enough to remind you who's in charge. But when you don't give them what they expect, when you stand there, dead-eyed, emotionless, a wall they can't break, they panic. Oh, and how delicious that panic is. It's not just silence you're giving them. It's a mirror, a dark, distorted reflection of themselves that they can't bear to look at. You know what's funny? They'll call you heartless, cold, cruel. They'll paint you as the villain in their tragic little stories, the monster who ruined their perfect world. But ask yourself, who made you this way? Who taught you to stop feeling? It wasn't some grand choice, was it? No, it was them, their lies, their neglect, their betrayal. They handed you the blueprint for this fortress of indifference you've built. And now they hate you for using it. The irony, my dear, is almost poetic. Take a good, long look at the world. It's a circus, and everyone's playing the clown, pretending they're more important than they really are. They scream for attention, for validation, for someone to tell them they matter. But you've stopped clapping. You've stopped caring. And that scares them more than any insult or punch could. Your indifference isn't just a response, it's a revolution, a reckoning they never saw coming. Let me explain it to you logically. Let's say someone wrongs you, betrays you, lies to you, uses you. What do they expect? Anger, tears, revenge, something, anything that tells them they've gotten under your skin. It feeds their ego, their pathetic little need to feel important. But what happens when you don't give them that satisfaction? When you shrug, turn your back, and walk away like they're nothing more than a speck of dust on your boots? They break. Oh, not immediately. No, no, no. It's a slow unraveling, a festering wound they can't ignore. And that's where your power lies. Not in fists or words, but in absence. In making them realize they're so insignificant to you that they're not even worth the effort. That's the real punishment, isn't it? Not pain, not suffering, but irrelevance. Because at the end of the day, that's what terrifies people the most. Not being hated, but being forgotten. Here's an example for you. Imagine a wolf in a cage, snarling, baring its teeth, trying to scare you. What do? Do you scream back? Do you taunt it? Try to prove you're stronger? No, you turn your back. Walk away. Because the wolf isn't your equal. It's just another animal, desperate for attention. That's what they are. Wolves in cages, barking and biting because they're too weak to live without your validation. And you're the one holding the key, deciding whether they matter or not. But don't get me wrong, indifference isn't easy. It's not some switch you can flick on and off. It's a skill, a discipline, a craft you have to master. It takes strength to look someone in the eye, someone who's hurt you, betrayed you, and feel nothing. No anger, no sadness, no pity, just emptiness. And that's what they can't stand. They'd rather you scream at them, hit them, beg them to explain themselves. Anything but silence. Silence is a void, a black hole that swallows their existence and spits them out as nothing. It forces them to face the truth they've been running from, that they're not as important as they think they are. And oh, how they hate you for that. How they despise you for robbing them of their delusions. But that's not your problem, is it? Their self-worth, their insecurities, their pathetic little games. They're not your burden to carry, not anymore. So here's the deal. You stop playing their game. You stop reacting. Stop caring. Stop giving them the power they crave. You become the calm in the storm, the eye of the hurricane, the silence that drowns out their noise. And in doing so, you win. Not just the battle, but the war. Because indifference isn't just a shield, it's a sword. A weapon that cuts deeper than any wound they could inflict. And the best part? It's permanent. Anger fades. Sadness heals. But indifference? It stays. It lingers. It haunts them long after you've walked away. Because no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, they'll never be able to reach you again. You've become untouchable, invincible, a ghost they can't exorcise. And that, my friend, is the ultimate victory. So here's my advice. Let go. Not just of them, but of the need to feel anything for them. Let their words, their actions, their existence slide off you like rain on a window. Be the storm they can't weather, the silence they can't fill. And when they finally break, when they crumble under the weight of their own insignificance, you'll realize the truth. Your indifference wasn't just a response. It was their reckoning. A reckoning they brought upon themselves. You know, it's funny. People will tell you indifference is cruel, heartless. They'll say it makes you a monster. But you and I both know the truth, don't we? Indifference isn't cruelty. It's survival. It's the armor you wear when the world keeps throwing knives at your back. And the people who call it heartless, they're the ones who gave you the knives in the first place. Think back. Remember all those times you cared, when you gave them your trust, your time, your love. What did they do with it? They crushed it. tossed it aside like it was nothing. And then, when you finally stopped caring, they had the audacity to act like you were the problem, like you were the villain in their sad little story. But let me tell you something, kid. Villains don't just appear out of thin air. They're created, molded, built piece by piece by people who push too far, take too much, and never give a damn about the destruction they leave behind. So if they want to call you a villain, fine. Let them. Wear it like a badge of honor. Because at least villains don't pretend to be something they're not. They don't hide behind fake smiles and empty promises. They don't lie about their intentions. Villains are honest. And you? You're more honest now than you've ever been. Your indifference isn't a mask. It's the real you. The you they forced into existence. And no matter how much they hate it, they can't unmake you. They can't take back what they did. You ever hear the saying that the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference? It's true, you know. Hate still means you care. It means they've still got a piece of you, still have some kind of power over you. But indifference? That's freedom. It's the moment you stop giving a damn whether they sink or swim, live or die. It's the moment you take back your power, your life, your soul. You see, caring is a transaction. You give a piece of yourself, and you expect something in return. Love, respect, loyalty. But when they don't hold up their end of the deal, what are you left with? Emptiness, pain, regret. And that's when you realize the truth. Caring is a gamble, and the house always wins. But indifference is the end game. It's not giving them the chance to play you anymore. It's walking away from the table and letting them sit there, staring at their losing hand. And trust me, they hate that. They hate it because it makes them powerless, because it forces them to face the truth they've been running from their whole lives. They're not as important as they think they are. And nothing scares a narcissist more than irrelevance. It's their kryptonite, their Achilles heel. And you've become their nightmare, the ghost they can't exorcise, the void they can't fill. But here's the thing. Indifference doesn't mean you stop feeling altogether. No. It means you stop feeling for them. It means you take all that energy, all that love, all that rage, and you turn it inward. You build yourself up, piece by piece, until you're so strong, so untouchable, that nothing they do can hurt you anymore. You focus on you, your goals, your dreams, your life. Because here's the dirty little secret they don't want you to know. They need you more than you'll ever need them. They feed off your attention, your emotions, your reactions. But when you stop giving them that, when you turn your back and leave them to rot in the hell they created, they crumble, they fall apart. And you rise. It's not about revenge. It's not about making them suffer. It's about taking back what's yours. Your peace, your power, your freedom. And that, my dear, is the sweetest victory of all. Because while they're stuck in the past, replaying their mistakes, drowning in their guilt, you'll be out there living, thriving, winning. You know what the real joke is? They'll never admit it, but deep down, they respect you for it. They envy you, because while they're still chained to their need for validation, you've broken free. You've become what they can never be, untouchable. And that scares them more than anything. But don't let their fear fool you into feeling sorry for them. They made their bed. Now they can lie in it. And if they try to drag you back, if they try to guilt you or manipulate you or make you feel like you owe them something, you look them in the eye and say, no, not out of anger, not out of spite, but out of pure, unshakable indifference. Because you don't owe them a damn thing. Not your time, not your energy, not your pain, nothing. You've got the power now, kid. Use it. Don't waste it on people who don't deserve it. Don't let them drag you down to their level. Rise above. Be the storm, the silence, the reckoning they never saw coming. And when they finally realize what they've lost, when they're left with nothing but regret and empty hands, you'll know you've won. Because your indifference wasn't just a response, it was their reckoning. And there's no coming back from that. You think they'll understand one day, don't you? That maybe, just maybe, they'll wake up and realize what they did, what they lost, that they'll come crawling back, apologizing, begging for forgiveness. But here's the cold, brutal truth. They won't. They never do. People like that, they don't apologize. They justify. They'll tell themselves you were the problem, that you were too sensitive, too distant, too cold. They'll rewrite the story to paint themselves as the victim, because it's easier to blame you than to face their own reflection. Oh, they'll convince everyone they meet that you were the villain, the monster who tore everything apart. And maybe, for a while, you'll believe it too. You'll doubt yourself, question everything, wonder if they were right. But let me save you the trouble, kid. They weren't. You see, guilt, that's for people with a conscience. And people like them, they don't have one. They don't lose sleep over what they did to you. They don't stay up at night replaying their lies, their betrayals, their selfishness. No, they sleep like babies while you lie awake, drowning in the pain they caused. But not anymore. Because today, right here, right now, you're done. Done carrying the weight of their mistakes. Done letting their poison seep into your veins. Done feeling anything for people who wouldn't cross the street to save you if you were burning alive. Let me tell you something about fire, my friend. It doesn't just destroy, it purifies. It burns away the lies, the weakness, the chains they tried to shackle you with. And when the flames die down, what's left? You, the real you, stronger, sharper, untouchable. You want an example? All right, picture this. A person standing in front of you, tears streaming down their face, begging for a second chance. They're saying all the right words, making all the right promises. They're painting this pretty little picture of a future where everything's perfect, where they'll never hurt you again. And for a moment, you're tempted. For a moment, you want to believe them. But then you remember, they've done this before. They've cried those tears, made those promises, drawn that same picture over and over again. And every time, it ended the same way, with you picking up the pieces of your shattered heart while they walked away, unscathed. So what do? Do you let them back in? Do you give them another chance to rip you apart? No? You smile. Not out of kindness, not out of forgiveness, but out of pure, cold indifference. You look them in the eye and say, no, and then you walk away. Not because you're heartless, but because you finally learned your worth. Because you finally realized that some people don't deserve a second chance. Hell, they didn't even deserve the first one. Oh, and here's the kicker. They won't stop. Oh, no, people like that. They thrive on control, on manipulation. They'll try every trick in the book to pull you back in. Guilt, anger, tears, even love. They'll play the victim, the hero, the martyr, whatever role gets them what they want. But you're done playing their game. You see, the moment you stop caring is the moment they lose all their power. They can't control you if you don't react. They can't hurt you if you don't let them in. And that drives them insane. Because people like them, they need to matter. They need to be important. And when you show them they're not, when you treat them like the insignificant little parasites they are, they crumble. Oh, they'll lash out at first. They'll call you cold, cruel, selfish. They'll say you've changed, that you're not the person they once knew. But here's the secret, kid. You're not. And thank God for that. Because the person you were, that person let them walk all over you. That person gave and gave and gave until there was nothing left. That person cared. And where did it get them? Broken. But not anymore. Now you're the one in control. Now you're the one who decides who gets your time, your energy, your love. And if they don't like it, tough. Let them choke on their own bitterness. Let them drown in their regret. Because you're done being their doormat. You're done being their punching bag. You're done being their victim. You're free now, kid. Free from their lies, their games, their chains. And do you know what freedom tastes like? It tastes like nothing. Like air, like silence. Because true freedom isn't about having it all. It's about needing nothing. It's about looking at the people who tried to destroy you and feeling absolutely nothing. No anger, no sadness, no hate, just indifference. And that, my dear, is the ultimate revenge. Because while they're still stuck in their own little world, trying to make sense of why you're no longer there, you're out living your life, thriving, winning. And every time they think of you, and trust me, they will, it'll kill them a little more. Because your indifference, it wasn't just a response, it was their reckoning. And there's no coming back from that. Now go. Take that indifference and wear it like armor. Let it shield you from their poison, their lies, their pathetic little attempts to pull you back in. And when they finally break, when they're left with nothing but regret and empty hands, you'll know you've won. Not because you hurt them, but because you didn't let them hurt you. Because in the end, indifference isn't just survival. It's justice. It's power. It's freedom. And it's the one thing they can never take away from you. Let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a fool who believed in people. He thought if he gave them everything, his time, his love, his trust, they'd give him the same in return. Oh, but the world doesn't work like that, does it? No, no, people take and take and take. And when there's nothing left to take, they blame you for running out. This fool, he kept giving, thinking, this time it'll be different. This time they'll appreciate me. But every time, they left him emptier than before. And when he finally broke, when he finally stopped giving, do you know what they called him? Heartless, cold, selfish. The villain of their fairy tale. Sound familiar? Of course it does, because that fool was you, wasn't it? The person you used to be before you learned the truth. And the truth is this: people don't want you. They want what you can give them. Your time, your energy, your loyalty. And when you stop giving, when you stop playing the role they wrote for you, they cast you out. Because to them, you were never a person. You were a resource, a means to an end. But here's the thing about fools. They don't stay fools forever. Eventually, they wake up. They see the world for what it really is, a battlefield. And in this battlefield, you can't afford to care too much. Caring is a weakness. It's a crack in your armor. And the people who claim to love you, they'll use that crack to slip the knife in. Every single time. You know what I love about indifference? It's honest. It doesn't pretend to be kind or noble or selfless. It's raw, pure, unapologetic. It doesn't ask for permission, doesn't beg for forgiveness. It just is. And that's what makes it so powerful. Because while they're still playing their little games, trying to manipulate you, trying to get under your skin, you're untouchable. You're the storm they can't weather, the silence they can't fill. And oh, how it terrifies them. Because people like them, They thrive on control. They need to know they can affect you, bend you, break you. But when you stop reacting, when you stop caring, you take that power away. You strip them of the one thing they thought they had over you. And without that power, they're nothing. Just empty shells screaming into the void, hoping someone, anyone, will hear them. But you don't hear them anymore. Their words, their lies, their pleas, they're just noise now. Background static in a world that no longer revolves around them. And that, my friend, is the ultimate revenge. Not anger, not hate, but silence, indifference. The realization that their existence has no impact on yours. That they can scream and cry and beg all they want, and it won't change a damn thing. You ever watch someone try to light a fire in the rain? It's pathetic, isn't it? They huddle over the match, shielding it with their hands, hoping, praying that one tiny spark will catch. But the rain doesn't care. It just keeps falling, drowning out their efforts, washing away their hope. That's what you've become. The rain. Unstoppable, unrelenting, untouchable. They'll try to ignite something in you. Anger, guilt, regret. They'll throw every spark they've got, hoping to set you ablaze. But you're the storm. You're the flood. Their sparks mean nothing to you now. And as they stand there, soaked and shivering, watching their little fire die, you'll realize the truth. You don't need to fight them. You don't need to hurt them. You just need to let them destroy themselves. Because people like that, they're their own worst enemy. They can't survive without someone to feed off of, someone to blame, someone to control. And when you take yourself out of the equation, when you walk away and leave them to face the mess they've made, they crumble. Not because of you, but because of who they are. Weak, fragile, broken. You think this is harsh? Maybe. But life isn't kind. It's not fair. It doesn't hand out second chances like candy. It chews you up and spits you out. And the only way to survive is to be harder than the world that broke you. To take every scar, every wound, every betrayal, and turn it into armor. To stand tall, unshaken, while the people who try to destroy you collapse under the weight of their own sins. You're not their savior. You're not their scapegoat. You're not their punching bag. You're the reckoning they never saw coming. The storm they thought they could outrun. And when the dust settles, when the rain stops, when the silence finally falls, they'll see the truth. You didn't just survive, you thrived. You rose from the ashes of their destruction, stronger, sharper, and more untouchable than ever. And that, my dear, is the greatest revenge of all. Not hurting them, not destroying them, but leaving them to destroy themselves while you walk away, untouchable, unstoppable, and utterly free. Be the storm, be the silence, be the reckoning they never saw coming. And when they look back, when they try to piece together what went wrong, they'll realize too late. Your indifference wasn't just a response. It was their downfall, their punishment, their reckoning. And that, my friend, is a power no one can take from you. Let's talk about pain for a moment, not the kind they feel, not their shallow little aches, their bruised egos, their crocodile tears. No, I mean your pain. The kind that keeps you up at night. The kind that burns in your chest, claws at your throat, makes you want to scream, but leaves you silent instead. That pain is real. It's raw. It's proof you're alive. But let me tell you a secret about pain. It's a gift. Oh, I know what you're thinking. How can pain be a gift? But think about it. Pain is honest. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't wear a mask or play pretend. It tells you exactly where the wound is, exactly what's broken, exactly who's responsible. And once you understand it, once you learn to embrace it instead of running from it, pain becomes your greatest teacher. Because here's the thing about pain. It doesn't just hurt. It changes you. It forces you to grow, to adapt, to harden. It turns your weaknesses into strengths, your scars into armor. And the people who caused it, they become irrelevant. They're just the spark that lit the fire, the tools you used to forge yourself into something stronger, something unstoppable. You think they feel pain like you do? You think they carry the weight of their actions, their betrayals, their lies? No, they don't. People like that, they don't feel anything? Not really. Oh, they'll pretend. Sure, they'll put on a show, cry their crocodile tears, play the victim in their own pathetic little drama. But it's all a lie. A mask they wear to avoid accountability, to shift the blame, to make you doubt yourself. And you let them, didn't you? You let them make you feel guilty for walking away, for protecting yourself, for choosing your own damn sanity over their chaos. But not anymore. Because here's what you need to understand. Their pain is not your responsibility. Their guilt, their regret, their self-destruction, that's not on you. It never was. You gave them chances. You gave them love, trust, loyalty. And what did they give you in return? Lies, betrayal, pain. So no, you don't owe them anything. Not your time, not your forgiveness, not a single second of your peace. They made their bed. Let them lie in it. Let them rot in it. Let them drown in the mess they created. Because you're done being their lifeline. You're done saving people who wouldn't even lift a finger to save you. You ever notice how people hate the quiet? How they can't stand the silence? It terrifies them, makes them feel small, insignificant. And that's what you've become to them, isn't it? The silence, the void, the absence they can't fill. They'll tell you it's cruel. They'll call you heartless. But here's the truth. Silence isn't cruelty. It's clarity. It's the moment you stop playing their game, stop feeding their ego, stop letting them pull your strings. It's the moment you take back control. of your life. You don't need to yell. You don't need to fight. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. It tells them exactly what they mean to you. Nothing. And that, my friend, is the most powerful statement you'll ever make. Ned, here's what they don't want you to know. They need you. They need your attention, your energy, your care. Without it, they're nothing. Just empty shells, desperate for someone, anyone, to validate their existence. But you don't need them. You never did. And that's what scares them the most. The fact that you finally realized you're better off without them. That you don't need their approval, their love, their apologies. That you're strong enough to stand on your own, to walk away, to leave them behind. It terrifies them because it forces them to face the truth. They're not as important as they thought they were. And that's the one thing people like them can't handle: irrelevance. Let them scream, let them cry, let them beg and plead and promise to change. And when they do, you smile. Not out of cruelty, not out of anger, but out of pure, unshakable indifference. Because you know, deep down, that they'll never change. They'll never grow. They'll never become the person you once thought they were. And that's not your problem anymore. Indifference is power, kid. The kind of power they'll never understand. The kind of power they'll spend the rest of their lives chasing, trying to reclaim, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. But the answer is simple. It went wrong the moment they underestimated you, the moment they thought they could use you, break you, control you. And now, they're left with nothing. Just the empty shell of who they thought they were, staring at the wreckage of their own creation. And you're free. Free from their lies, their games, their poison. Free to live your life on your own terms, without their chains holding you back. Be free. Be the storm they can't weather, the silence they can't escape. Be the reckoning they never saw coming. And when they look back, when they try to piece together what went wrong, they'll realize too late. Your indifference wasn't just a response, it was their reckoning. You win, kid. And they'll never even see it coming.